Hi, everyone. Welcome back to episode 8 of the Simply Wellness podcast. I'm your host, Colin, and I'm joined here by my co-host, Chris.
How we doing, everybody?
We're just a couple of best friends who are passionate about all things pop culture. If you're looking for lukewarm takes on movies, video games, TV shows, we've got the show for you. And this week, we actually decided to go see the new Robert Eggers film, The Northman, which we actually got a letter about last week, and we'd already had some interest in it, so that was all the more reason to go see it, I felt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw
we're
that
gonna do our
trailer
best.
and I was...
Yeah.
I saw that trailer
good.
and I was screaming, yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to do our best to speak intelligently about it. That's not really our bag, but we'll see how we do.
Yeah, I'm what they call a simple man.
Yes, simple.
Like, I'm a grown adult and I still try to get, like, semi-trunks to honk their horn, you know, by raising your arm.
Pumping the arm. Yeah. Come on, do it. And then they do. And you're like, yeah.
And yes, it's just, it's those little victories.
Well, speaking of semis, are we going to talk about that?
I don't know if we can, but I'm going to do it.
Just be super vague.
Yeah. So,
like
as we were leaving the theater from seeing The Northman, I got in a car crash.
Yeah, we did. I was in the vehicle with you.
We got in a car crash.
Were fine.
Know. Yeah, just slipped a couple discs, but I think I'll be
No,
okay.
we did not.
No, nothing like that. But yeah, I think my car's totaled.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, thankfully, both Colin and I, as well as the other driver, were completely okay. Got rear-ended. It just happens, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, thankfully, the most important thing, everybody, including the other guy, was okay.
Yeah, it was just not how we intended on spending the rest of that evening.
No.
We were like, oh man, we'll go home and we'll type up our notes or whatever, and we'll play some games, and we did not. We were on the side of the road for about 3 hours.
Yes.
And then by the time we got home, we were like, I just want to eat something and go to bed.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, like you said, we're all okay, and that's the important part. So, before we jump into the Northman, I've got a few things to discuss with you. We've got to talk about the delaying of Across the Spider-Verse Parts 1 and 2, the future of Netflix, Jason Momoa's newest project, as well as the trailers for Lightyear and Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm excited about that. It was just dumb fucking luck that, I mean, literally the day after we recorded last week, the Thor: Love and Thunder trailer came out, and I was like, "Are you shitting me?" Like,
no fucking
we missed
way.
it by that much. Like, so if you're ready, we'll just jump in and get through it.
Yeah, let's hop right into it. That's foreshadowing for my cryptid.
Ooh, is it the fucking Frogman?
I don't know. You have to find out.
All right, so Sony announced that it is, in fact, delaying Across the Spider-Verse from October 7th of 2022 all the way to June of 2023.
Holy shit!
Yeah, like, it wasn't a little delay. It was, like, a big delay. And the original release date was right around my birthday. And so I was, like, super jazzed. I was like, oh, shit, for my birthday, we'll go see Spider-Verse. Because that's, I don't think we've mentioned it, Into the Spider-Verse is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was arguably like my most anticipated movie of the year, and I like just yanked that shit away from me.
Took that away from me.
Just like I lost it all. And then part 2 got pushed back to March 29th of 2024. So I've still got a ways to wait on that. So that's not cool. It makes me a little nervous, honestly, that it's like that's like an 8-month delay.
Did they say why at all?
No, not in the announcement. It was just basically like, yeah, by the way, here's an update to our calendar. And so now Sony really doesn't have any major releases this year outside of Morbius.
Yikes.
Which, I mean, I'm not even trying to dunk on Morbius. I wonder if maybe that gave them a little bit of, like, insecurity with, like, the Spider-Man brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so they're trying to put a little cushion. Yeah. Or I wonder if maybe, like, I mean, it'd be a big Hail Mary, but I wonder if, like, the some of that Spider Universe stuff was going to tie in, and that they were going to make the animated universe one of the universes. You know what I mean?
And now they're just like, we better not do that.
We'd better steer clear of that. And that's strictly speculating. I don't think that's it, but it could be. I mean, you know.
Well, either way, if it's that big of a jump, yeah, I was gonna say either way, with that big of a jump, at least, you know, they're taking the time to be like, you know what, we need to fix something or add something or
take something
along,
away, or
something along those lines, and they're like,
they thought it
we need to
needed more
push
time
it.
in the oven.
Yeah, yeah, and they're not trying to rush it either. They're like, all right, we need to give this some time.
Yeah, which I guess that's true. I would rather them take their time and it be good than them rush it out and it be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same announcement, we did receive a release date of July 7th, 2023 for the Madam Web film. Starring Dakota Johnson that we talked about a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
And Sydney Sweeney. I couldn't think of the young lady's name in that episode who was from Euphoria, but Sydney Sweeney is also cast in the Madam Web film.
Rock on.
But yeah, so that's all I've got about that. I don't want to dwell on it because I'll start getting belligerent. Just like a drunk dad at a fucking baseball game. I'm just yelling at the refs, at the umpire. That's a bullshit call! it's kid pitch, you know?
Yeah.
It's low stakes stuff, and dad's just losing it.
I was below the knee! What is that?
Dad goes out there and draws the fucking the strike line for the ump. Anyways, Netflix held its quarterly earnings call where it revealed that for the first time in over a decade, it actually lost subscribers last quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And this caused the company's share to drop 30% in value. And the co-CEO actually during the call remarked, and apparently this guy is typically like cool as a cucumber. He's super reserved. And he remarked, "I know it's disappointing for investors, and it is for sure." And then he stated that the company was now super focused on getting back in their investors' good graces. So, like, to people that know the guy and are like really familiar or always on the investor calls and whatever, to them that sounded like shit. This guy's he's worried.
Yeah.
Like for him to even admit that it is concerning or disappointing is like, oh shit, this isn't good.
Yeah, I mean, just the other day, a couple people from work, we were talking, and they both were like, yeah, we canceled our subscriptions to Netflix.
Right. Well, and so Netflix has announced that likely in an attempt to make up some of that lost revenue, they're going to start cracking down on password sharing. They're planning on introducing a cheaper ad-supported tier to their subscription after they hiked the price on their other tiers, as well as pulling back their spending on Netflix original content, which I mean,
I feel like all of that is not a good thing.
No, I mean, the password sharing makes me go, well, then fuck it, I'm not paying for it anyways. Because the way they're planning on cracking down on it is charging fees when like it's logged in from like a different location. And it's like, okay, how's that going to work if I'm traveling or,
right?
Like there's tons of what ifs where it's like, how do you
especially if you go to like a hotel, because like there's been plenty of times I've been to a hotel where you can log into your stuff there, and I think it stays for like 24 hours and immediately locks out.
Right. Or like what if it's somebody that travels a lot for business and they use something like that, or a child of divorce who's constantly going back and forth between parents' house. I mean, there's, like I said, there's a million reasons why that's not an easy thing to police and would just probably end up being a net negative. I don't think that's a good thing to do. And as then well the ads, like,
dude, I can't stand Hulu for that sole reason.
Right. I paid more money to not have ads, and it's still cheaper than Netflix's tiers now.
Yeah.
And like I can't, like we were talking before the show. The Adam Project is the first thing in a long time on Netflix that I logged in to watch.
And that is, that's, I'd say for maybe the past couple months, the only thing I logged in for it for.
Right.
I kept telling you my go-to is HBO Max and Disney Plus. They just have everything I want.
That I'm wanting to see. And like it's reaching a point where it honestly might not be a bad idea to unsubscribe and then just, because of their release format of like, if it's a series, they just drop it all at once, and then you could just wait for your show to premiere and then use your 1 week free trial or whatever it is and just watch your show and then be done with it. Right.
Careful. They might be listening. They'll no longer do the free trial.
Well, that's on them. If they want to keep tanking their business, go for it.
Yep.
And then, I mean, there honestly is. There's a loud majority online that is talking about this isn't a good decision, and they're vowing that they're going to unsubscribe if the company follows through with any or all of those options. And honestly, I think I would fall in that camp of it's one of those where it's inconvenient to unsubscribe, so I don't. But if they make it more inconvenient to keep being subscribed, then I'm going to do it.
Right. Yeah, what's the point?
Especially when they're talking about defunding their originals. I think the problem is that there's already nothing drawing you to the platform.
There's not enough funding to them to begin with.
And I don't know if it's a funding issue or where they are spending the money isn't on good. Like, a lot of Netflix originals are mid. And then the ones that are good, they cancel.
Yeah.
They get 2, maybe 3 seasons. You figure the Stranger Things is the outlier by getting 4 seasons.
Yeah, I was going to say, I believe, if I'm correct, the ones that I know that they said that they're guaranteeing to keep was like Big Mouth and then Boss Baby, the series that they got running, which I was Jesus. Like, Big Mouth, I stopped watching after season 1. It was funny the first season, and then season 2 kind of tanked.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, and then I just haven't picked back up on it since. And then, I'm sorry, who the fuck's watching Boss Baby?
Yeah, like, the only thing I could see, like, all I could see is, you're putting it on for the kids, and at that rate, all right, just watch, get Disney Plus for less than half the price.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't see it going well for them. I get there in the spot monetarily where they need to make some decisions. They're just throwing shit at the wall, and see what helps their revenue, right? Their money. But I just don't think this is it.
Mm-mm. And that's obviously the thing, is like everybody. Well, I was going to say, everybody, I feel like there's so much feedback from the audience of Netflix that are saying, like, what you're doing right now is not the move.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And they're still pursuing with it, which is kind of like, all right, well, right. I mean, we told you, you don't want to listen.
Yeah. And I mean, it is an odd point in, like, streaming culture or whatever you want to call it, like the market, I guess, where it's like, okay, if we let Netflix get away with it, then the others will follow suit.
Right, yeah.
And then you're going to turn yourself into a spot where everybody's charging you $20 for their service, and there's 9 services, and you're spending $200 a month to not have cable, which is exactly what cable was.
Mm-hmm.
And you've just looped yourself back around to, I have to buy the channels I want to watch.
What if this is everybody slowly falling back into cable?
I don't know, man. Like, cable would have to start really offering stuff up. Like, there's not a lot of cable television that isn't also available on streaming, and B, like, there's again, you've got to pay for cable, which is where you're buying 90 channels and you might only watch 4. You know what I mean?
Because to be honest with you, like, people are dumb. Like, you hit it right on the nose that Netflix. Oh, I dropped my can. Netflix.
Don't be doing that.
I feel like is definitely like. It's gonna happen. Like, Netflix is gonna get away with it.
Yeah.
And all the other streaming services are probably gonna follow.
Oh shit, that worked.
Yeah, like, so I just see that happen. Like, yeah, you hit it on the head. Like, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, and that's I don't look forward to that, but I think it's probably where it'll head.
That's why we wanted to talk about our new streaming service coming out called Simply Whelmed. You can get it on any streaming service.
No, it's just Simply Plus.
Yeah, Simply Plus, where we'll be streaming all of our favorite shows and strictly our favorite shows.
Yeah. No, we got to have originals. And it's just you and I. It's a very student film.
Yeah, it's just there is just a 2-hour long video of just me eating breakfast.
Yeah, that video I sent you one time of me just devouring a McRib. We just there's just a series where it's just me eating food as quickly as I can. In the most slovenly, piggish way possible.
It's just me shitting at work, trying to squeeze one out, killing 15 minutes worth of time.
Yeah. I'm just growling while I eat. Just, here's a Baconator, And that's the name of the episode, is just whatever the food is. It's just,
Baconator Part 3.
Yeah, like, here's the Bacon King.
Baconator Part 3, Son of the Baconator.
Yeah. And just... No, I don't think that's going to go well. But, hey, send in your thoughts if that sounds like something you'd want to pay for.
To the simplywellmailbag@gmail.com. Would love to hear it.
Like, if you're down and you're willing to pay, I'll make it. No, so for real, though, Jason Momoa is in final negotiations to be the star of Warner Brothers' live-action Minecraft movie.
No.
Yeah, deadass. Like,
you're pulling my leg.
No, this is legitimate This is actually happening.
I
this is coming
gotta
straight
look this
from the
up.
Hollywood Reporter. Yeah, look up. Like, it's coming from the Hollywood Reporter. The Napoleon Dynamite director, Jared Hess, is set to direct the movie. And actually, like, key members of the Mojang development team who make Minecraft are acting as executive producers. At this moment, there aren't really any details story-wise. But yeah, Jason Momoa is in the Minecraft movie.
Why?
I don't know, man. And like, the Minecraft movie has been hot potatoed from director to director, it seems like. In fact, at one point, I didn't write his name down. The gentleman, not Dan Levy. Either way, the gentleman that made the Atom Project was attached to do it. Which, I mean, he made the other video game movie, Free Guy. Which
I
seemed
haven't
to
seen
do
that,
well.
but I heard it was really. Yeah, I heard it was really good.
But so I guess it all depends on like what you do with the Minecraft movie. You know what I mean? Like, how does that work? Like, it doesn't have a hard story, so it's not like a direct adaptation of the story. And especially with Jason Momoa, I don't see Jason Momoa being Minecraft Steve.
No.
Like, I just don't know how they can do it. Like, if they do it seriously, it's going to be cringy. If they do it jokingly, it's also going to be cringy. I just don't know how they're going to pull it off. But I'm here for it. Like, I'll go see it.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
Yeah, like, just good luck with all that.
Yeah.
So that's literally all I've got to say about that. I just saw it and couldn't not talk about it.
Right, and I'm excited to see news about that.
Yeah, I can't wait for the first trailer. Like, all shit bricks. Like, I don't know why, but I'm picturing like fan videos of Minecraft.
Captain Sparkles.
Yeah. Except it's Jason Momoa with a fucking pixel diamond pickaxe falling through the Nether, like just killing a ghast with an overhead strike. Yeah,
dude, those used to be the shit. Minecraft covers. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I can't think of the song.
The Coldplay.
Yes.
Is it
Viva La Vida?
Yeah.
No, not Viva La Vida.
Are you sure?
It might be Viva La Vida. But that makes me think of Viva La Vida Loca.
Viva La Vida. Yeah, Coldplay. Yeah, no, we got it.
Oh, right. Dude, I'm so good at this. All right, but yeah. So that's all I got. The Lightyear trailer came out. The second one.
Yeah, that was. I'm so excited for this movie.
Dude, it looks really good. Like, first of all, visually, it actually literally looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks really nice. Really, really pretty.
Like, it's spooky how good Pixar's like graphics abilities are becoming.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, if they wanted to, they could go for like some real photorealism. Because I mean, obviously, all of their characters tend to have like the cartoonish, proportions or features or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, if they did just here's real people, I'd be like, this is creepy. Like, this is the uncanny valley, which might be why they don't do that.
I saw something where, it was a TikTok, but it was like, we're super excited to see Lightyear, but also, where's Woody?
Well, so
I was like, well, we got Woody's story in Toy Story 2.
Right.
How he was a TV show.
They could do a Disney Plus series, and it's just the TV show.
That'd be pretty fire.
Disney, if you do that, I demand a chunk of that money.
Yeah. We're trademarking that right now.
I mean, we can't trademark it. We don't own it. But
we
so in the Lightyear trailer, we saw that like. What'd you say?
I just got real close to the mic. Went pending permits.
No, so yeah, there's like a time dilation plot line, where like he warps through. They're like he's doing the light speed stuff, and then when he comes back, it's like what did they say, like 40 or 60 years in the future?
Yeah, I think it's 60 something.
And he's like, "What the shit?" That's deadass. That is what he said. He just said, "What the shit?" But no, this is supposed to be like, for people that don't know, this isn't like the Buzz Lightyear that we know. This is supposed to be the movie that Andy would have gone to see that the toy is from.
Mm-hmm.
And so like this is supposed to be like Andy's Star Wars, where it's life changing. He's like, fuck, I need the action figure, like this is gonna define my life. And yeah, so I'm excited to see like what would that movie have been, obviously? But it is odd because I thought that's what the like Disney animated series was on like Disney XD or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, it sounds good. Like it looks good. I'm excited for it.
I'm excited to see Emperor Zurg. Like
Yeah,
I
because he looks
loved
like
him.
a giant robot in this.
Yeah, and I loved him in all the Toy Stories. I was like, oh, I want to know more about him because he's got like that gun blaster, and he just like why is there such a like a story arc for a character that doesn't have a story?
That doesn't exist, and now we'll get something.
I'm super excited for that.
But it is a weird thing where it's like, yeah, Toy Story is now like big enough that they can create a fake movie that exists within the Toy Story universe. You know what I mean?
It all comes back to the multiverse.
Yeah, it's all cyclical. But the
Where
trailer
does
that I'm really back
to me.
The trailer that I'm really jazzed for is Thor: Love and Thunder. What?
I was not happy with it.
You weren't happy because it didn't show you the movie.
No, I was no. Let me explain. I was unhappy because we didn't really see anything. Right. Like, okay, I will say we saw, what's her name? Female Thor, Jane Foster.
Let me ask you this: are you going to go see the movie?
Well, yeah.
Then it didn't really need to show you anything, did it?
Well, no, it's just because I enjoy Marvel. But I don't know. I wanted to see a little more of the trailer, like what's going on.
Well, but we'll probably get another trailer before the movie comes out.
We better.
You know what I mean? I'm sure this is like a teaser trailer. And even still, like I said, we're still going to go see it. But I do think that it makes me feel like there's something that they can't show us, like a big plot line that they can't show us maybe, that is dependent on either Moon Knight or Doctor Strange.
Yeah, which that would make sense. But I don't know. Part of me wanted to see Gore the God Butcher. Like I wanted to see.
Well, I floated the idea by you. That what if Gore the God Butcher shows up in the end of Moon Knight?
Which would make sense.
And they're kind of saving the first look at him for when people see that.
God, Moon Knight's so good.
That'd be exciting. Yeah, like I'm jazzed. We need to figure out how we're gonna do that because Moon Knight ends the same week that we go see Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to talk about that. Because I'm stumped.
Like that'll be a 4-hour episode if we talk about both things, or maybe we do like I don't know. But either way, the Thor: Love and Thunder trailer. So yeah, we see the Guardians are with him, the Asgardians of the galaxy.
Yes.
And Thor, for some reason, has decided to become a pacifist, and so that makes me think that the Guardians are probably going to ditch him. That they're going to be like, "Yeah, we gotta dip. Like this guy's no good."
I mean, yeah. And besides, Star-Lord Peter already doesn't like Thor.
Right? Yeah, they're already on rocky ground.
But yeah. I don't know. From what I did see, I did like the 80s montage of him working out.
He has the hat that just says Strongest Avenger. And he's just big fat Thor doing the chains.
Yeah.
I do want an 80s workout montage of him getting fit. And that's just how they hand wave away him not being fat anymore.
That'd be fine by me.
He just dug in and got to it, He has 2 blue eyes now, so that's kind of interesting. The last time we saw him, he had the yellow fake eye.
Yep.
It seems like maybe he's traveling the galaxy looking for other gods, because we see like some sort of space pirating. And then obviously we got like a little bit of a glimpse at Olympus, as well as like the backside, not the butt, but like from behind of Zeus, who's actually being played by Russell Crowe.
Okay, yeah.
And I really honestly like knowing like Taika Waititi and just the way that Thor Ragnarok went with like some of the larger stars in it. I would not be surprised if the scene of Thor and Jane Foster walking up or walking down like the road basically in Olympus, it might be when they run into Gore the God Butcher, and they might just use Zeus as like cannon fodder to be like, this guy means business.
Yeah. I got a theory that Thor's going to die and Jane Foster's going to take over the Thor franchise, which I'm okay with. I'd be excited for something like that.
Dude, like, can we just talk about how fucking big Natalie Portman is? Like, she's got man shoulders on her. Like,
built like an ox.
Yeah, like she got big. There was because a lot of times, like, and it's props. Like, usually when you see, in a movie, when it's like, well, we want a woman to be muscular, they're like, but she can't be too muscular because then people won't find her sexy.
I'm not worried about that. I want to see big
No,
muscles.
it's like, if she's supposed to be Thor, yeah, like, give the delts of her life. Like, and she does. She has big old deltoids on her. And yeah, I'm like, they had to be giving this girl steroids. Which, I mean, that's not uncommon, honestly, in Hollywood, like when they're doing the training and all that. Is, they get a dietitian, they get the trainer, and a physician gives them, like, a very regimented steroid boost, and that's the only way they can get as ripped as they do in the time frame that they do.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I do wish we'd seen a little Gore the God Butcher, but it's that idea of, like, you got to leave him wanting more, I
feel like seeing that would have left me wanting more.
You still want more, though.
My God.
Yeah, like, I'm just saying, the trailer did its job. You're like, I didn't see enough. Well, if you go see the movie, you'll see everything you wanted to see.
Oh my God. I'm a fool.
Plus, I think it's also a case of it played a little bit differently than a lot of Marvel trailers do.
That's true.
Where it's like, yeah, we didn't see, there wasn't like the turn in the music where it's like, and now here's the bad guy, and it's scary and whatever. It kept a pretty upbeat tone, I felt, which I think is setting us up for a character called Gore the God Butcher.
Yeah. Because it
also,
does leave you in that sense of, because Thor wants to become that pacifist and stuff like that, and which leads me to believe, I truly do believe Chris Hemsworth, his Thor is probably coming to an end.
I don't know, man.
I just got a hunch about it. I don't know. It's just that stomach feeling.
Because my only thing with Jane Foster taking over is Natalie Portman did not want to do another Thor.
Really? Yeah,
like, she was not, like, you figure there's a reason why she's just kind of off screen done away with in Ragnarok of, like, yeah, we broke up. She didn't want to come back, and, like, so somehow they convinced her to come back, probably money, and made her character more, less the damsel in distress, right? Which was one of her complaints, was that she was a very one-dimensional character who's supposed to be like the smart doctor and all that, and most of Thor 2 was her just like, I'm sick and I'm chilling.
I'm sick and I'm chilling.
Like, what do you want? That's all I've got on that guy. Like,
yeah, I don't.
I'm sorry you were bummed by it, but
yeah, that's fine. I mean, whatever. I'm just a man. But yeah, no. Regardless, I'm definitely gonna see it. I hope there is another trailer that drops where we get to see a little more. Yeah, but it is what it is. Like, I'm not like, I'm not gonna watch it anymore. Like, I'm still gonna see it, but for how high of a pedestal I put Marvel on, I expected the trailer to be a little better. But
you want to talk about the Northman?
Oh God, yes.
All right. You're going to take the lead on this. You wanted to do some research, so I let you.
Yeah, because you're a little baby boy who needed a nap today.
You know what? Maybe I was setting you up to, take the reins a little bit.
Yeah. Are you retiring as host?
No. I'm tired of carrying the whole thing on my back.
Whoa.
Well, steady.
Whoa. All right. So for the synopsis of The Northman, I have it as Amleth, who is played by... All right,
No. Go ahead.
Amleth, who is played by Alexander Skarsgård. His father gets killed after returning home from a voyaging, and Amleth is left to flee his home, or else he would have been murdered, planning to avenge his father and save his mother. And that's the
whole mantra as he's sailing away. I'll avenge you, father. I'll save you, mother. I'll kill you, Fjolnir.
Yep. Yeah, and then, so, what did you have, non-spoiler here, what were some, things that you enjoyed about the movie? I guess we'll just start there, and you can keep it broad, and we can dig in.
Did you have anything about, like, its reception or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So, on IMDb, it sits at a 7.9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then it was sitting at a... I believe it was like a 92 for audiences.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So the audiences enjoyed it a little bit more than the critics did.
Mm-hmm. Which I mean, the director, his last name is I
Robert
can't.
Eggers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the movies he makes. It's a different take of him. A lot of like
Yeah.
metaphors and symbolism. Um,
The
which
Witch is really good.
yeah, yeah, as well as the Lighthouse. Just it's art.
Hmm.
Like it just I feel like it takes cinema to a next level, which I
Yeah.
really appreciate. But then yeah, for some non spoilers,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what'd you have?
So, like, from a story standpoint, I did think that it was less actiony than the trailers made it seem, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It was just, it was a weird. I was expecting something that wasn't there, right?
Yeah, I literally have that written down for non-spoiler topics. I have
Yeah,
not as action-packed, and then in parentheses, in a good way.
yeah, yeah. I liked that it was inspired by a real Norse legend that is actually the story that inspired The Lion King as well as Hamlet.
Hmm.
And knowing that, it is like, yeah, there is some of that. Especially, I think Robert Eggers. I was watching the video with him. He actually directly relates a scene. It's in the trailers. The scene where young Amleth is sailing away from his kingdom and is saying like, I'll avenge you, father. I'll save you, mother. I'll kill you, Fjolnir. Is literally the scene from The Lion King when little baby Simba runs off into the desert and ends up growing up with Timon and Pumbaa, right?
Hmm.
Um, honestly, it was like it really leaned into the Viking culture, which I thought was really interesting and different because it was stuff that you don't necessarily see about Vikings.
Right.
Like when you
Whenever you
picture,
hear Vikings, you think of like
yeah,
barbarians and big
yeah,
feasts.
yeah, and this was not. It was like men dancing around the fire, like cosplaying as wolves, right?
Yeah, praying to their god.
Yeah, and it was a really solid revenge story. I thought.
Oh yeah. Going on with the story,
Yeah,
I thought it was a really nice slow burn
yeah,
because
very.
obviously, you in the beginning, which is in the trailer, you see, the father get killed, and then you're
Right.
left with this, oh my god, it's just gonna almost like a John Wick where it's just
Yeah,
nothing
or
but
you think it's going to
violence.
ramp up into violence? Yeah.
And it really doesn't, but it does a really good job of keeping you informed, keeping you up
Hmm.
to pace, and keeping that hook on you because you're like,
And
oh
when there is
shit, what's going?
violence, it is violent.
Yeah, and another something else I put down here was the action scenes were slow,
Yeah.
but again, not in a bad way because it kind of gave it that realism. Like there's that scene where that dips into spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah. Careful. Careful.
Which I'll talk about later. But yeah, no, it keeps it at a slow pace but very realistic, which I thought was
Yeah.
very interesting.
And I do think you see it a lot in movies where like a certain style of action basically
Hmm.
comes out, and then that's all that everybody does. And then when something different comes out, it stands out. You figure you've got, oddly enough, the two of the three examples that I can think of are Keanu Reeves. When The Matrix came out in '99, that was like, oh shit, like we could do that. And then you have
Hmm.
that being like what action looked like in movies.
Yep.
And then you've got the Bourne movies where it was like real fast, quick cuts
Hmm.
and like, close camera and all that. And it's like, oh wow, this is different. And so then a lot of movies did that. And then you had John Wick, and now that seems to be like what an action movie looks like is that John Wick style of action.
Yeah.
And so for this to do something that's not a John Wick style of action, where it's real fast paced, heavily choreographed, flashy, is kind of interesting to see. Like you said, realistic. It's just a man who's really good with weapons. He's a warrior his whole life, and he doesn't need to do like fancy spins or drop into a knee or whatever. He knows how to use a blade. You know.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
And then, what did you think about some of the chemistry Amleth had with any characters?
so just characters in general and chemistry, I thought that like Alexander Skarsgård did a really good job of portraying like a really focused rage,
Mm-hmm.
where like at times it would almost make him seem one dimensional, where it's like all this character is his rage.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a negative because he does have some turns with like Anya Taylor-Joy's character and things like that, where he starts to see that there could be more to his life than just being angry, right?
Yeah. I put down.
Um,
Oh no, yeah, I was gonna say I put down Amleth. I felt going back to what you're saying, it does involve that with all of the characters throughout it. Even, as you see him growing up, when they're cosplayed as all those wolves running around the fire praying to their god. I definitely felt the sense of he's there, but he's kind of not. He doesn't have these close ties with anyone. He keeps himself pretty separated.
Right, yeah, he is. I thought Nicole Kidman, she had a few scenes, but when she was in a scene, she did a very good job of being, acting like a queen. And I did have to set aside some of my bitterness towards her because I do despise her voice at the beginning of every AMC movie we go to see.
Yep.
But that is no fault of hers, I feel. She got a paycheck, you got to get the bag, but also
you got to get that cheddar.
Yeah, you got to. She's making a bread. She's making a sandwich. She got the bread and the cheddar, Got the bread, cheese, and lettuce, isn't that what Gambino says?
Yeah.
No, but in all reality, she does do a very good job of being, regal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, without getting into spoilers, there's more to her character than you suspect, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Especially from the beginning of it.
Right.
It just, it seems like that character is so played off as, okay, obviously, yep, that's the queen, push it off to the side. Yep. And then she makes such a huge comeback in it that, like, flows in, perfectly timed and just felt very raw. Again, real.
Yeah. And then Fjolnir, his character, I thought, had a different trajectory than I suspected he would. And it did lend itself to some pretty interesting plot points that were unexpected.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like major plot points.
Yeah. With it kind of throws everything up in the air of how, like, you kind of look at the movie. Yeah.
And I think that does play into how we said the trailers made us suspect that the movie would be one thing. And then once you get into it, it's not that thing.
It's completely different.
Do you have any more non-spoilers? Because I'm out. Like, I don't want to keep dancing around it.
Yeah, no, my non-spoiler was very short.
Yeah. So then, we got to rate it.
Oh, overwhelming.
Yeah, I was overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, this is something, if it came out on disc, I mean, who really buys discs anymore? But if it came out...
I do.
I feel like if it's not like Blu-ray, because I have a PlayStation, I just play it through there. If it's not streaming, I don't really buy it.
Yeah.
But no, if it came out on Blu-ray, like the second I found out, if I saw it in the store, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, I'm grabbing that. Like, I have to have that. For the first spoilery thing I wanted to talk about, first off, Anna Taylor-Joy, I got a huge crush on her. Like, I got to get that out in the open. I was getting all bought.
Can we say?
Yeah. So there is a scene where
they are a romantic pairing in it.
Yeah, and there's a sex scene, and I'm sitting there and I look over at Colin, and
it wasn't even the sex scene. It was there is the sex scene, and we both were kind of like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting to see, Anya Taylor-Joy's bottom, right? Because I think, as far as I know, that's the most risque thing she's done in a movie. But it wasn't distasteful or anything, you know what I mean? But so we both were like, oh wow. And then there is another shot later where she's like getting down in a hot spring to like bathe with him, and the camera, like, she walks through the camera shot and it's her butt again. And I fidget a lot with my hands, and one of my fidgets is I twist my ring around my finger because it's like a built-in like fidget toy, and you
leaned in
fidgeting.
Yeah, I leaned in and I was like, yeah, she's got you rethinking that marriage, huh?
Yeah, you're like, that ass got you thinking about that marriage.
And we just could not stop, and it's silent, like everyone's taking this movie so serious, and we just could not stop fucking giggling.
But luckily we were like quietly giggling. It wasn't like we're like,
yeah.
But yeah, that's all I could think about. Like, I came home and told Morgan about that, and she was just like, she got a kick out of it too. She thought it was funny.
Yeah. But no, all serious. She's a very talented actor, and I truly do believe she's a very beautiful woman as well. But
I think I skipped over her in my non-spoiler because I got to think about Nicole Kidman. I said that she was really compelling every time she was on screen, and I really I wanted to see more of her. I felt like her character didn't have as much to do as like her acting kind of like could have been used on. You know what I mean?
Especially with now, are we officially into spoilers?
We're in spoilers, yeah.
Okay, so with Anna Taylor-Joy's character, her character's name is Olga. Olga kind of plays this dumbfounded woman who doesn't know anything, and she's aware that she's young. She has that like platinum blonde hair, and she uses that to her
Right.
advantage to poison men and or drug them.
Yeah, she's actually incredibly intelligent.
Yeah, and I believe, is she a witch?
So yeah, maybe like she might study with witchcraft. I don't know, but like she even says at one point that like basically he's got the muscle and the means to kill men, right?
Yeah,
to destroy their bodies. Yeah, and she can break their mind.
Yeah, and I was like, oh fuck, yes.
Yeah.
Like I was sitting in Elmer's glue, dude. I was all bricked up. I was all worked up over there, like a Little Caesars hot and ready pizza.
Ew.
No, some of the spoilers. I wanted to see more of the barbarian phase because as he runs, because I want to try to stick chronologically to the stories, just so we're not rambling everywhere. So starting from there, I wanted to see, because he runs away from home, and obviously, looks like he is picked up by this group of barbarians. Yeah. And you see one scene that's that action-packed, which goes back to. It's that slow action because he does. I mean, they fucking throw a spear, he catches it and throws it right back at him. Yeah. And then they're climbing the walls, but with nothing but a single axe in their hand.
Yeah, they just scale a log wall.
Yeah, and it's hot. It's so amazing. But when he hops down, it isn't this big choreographed fight. I mean, he takes a sword, stabs a guy. Yeah. Another guy comes swinging.
He's got an axe and is just chopping at people.
Yeah, and then there's one where a guy's like hiding behind a wall trying to wait for him to come around so he can swing at him. And he sees him beforehand, and he basically just takes a knife, sticks it to his throat, and just keeps walking. And it's just that slow slice through of like, this guy's just scaled the wall. He's probably fucking whooped. And he's like, I shouldn't blow all this energy. Yeah, I got him pinned. I won.
Yeah, and he's just stomping around with his... Like his posture is very animalistic because like we talked about like hunch. We made that joke of them like cosplaying as wolves, but it did seem to be like a religious experience of them all getting themselves riled up into that berserker rage of like, we're no longer men, we're animals.
We're animals.
And so like he does walk around like with that hunch on his back, head down. He's kind of panting. It is very animalistic.
Like, not in a cringy way, but like in a way of this guy's fucking losing it.
Yeah, like this is, like he's killing. He is an animal. Like, like in fact, at one point he bites a dude's neck.
Yeah, and starts like howling.
Yeah, and they all
just screaming.
Yeah, and they all like break into it. Yeah, it was very odd.
Yeah, but it was so good.
Again, like I said, that was them leaning into that culture that you don't see a lot, so it was odd to see that.
Yeah, and I really wanted to see more of that. I thought that was very interesting, as well as they kind of have a strict regimen of they don't kill women or kids.
Seemed to be. Well, I don't know. I think they did lock people in that long.
Oh,
house.
Yeah, no, they did. I forgot about that.
They
did burn
a few of them. Like, if they were old or too young and could not be used as slave labor, they didn't get out of there.
Yeah, how could I forget that they straight up put a bunch of people in a building of kids and women,
including babies. Yeah,
and then they just set it on fire. I guess that just skimmed the mind.
Yeah, you blocked that part out.
That's just Tuesday for them.
Pretty sure they killed a lot of them. Like,
whoops,
oopsie daisy.
Go ahead.
But and I did. This kind of plays in chronologically. He after they've kind of raided that village and are camping for the night there. The movie does a good thing or a good balance of like the realism and his dedication to the mythology, where it was really interesting. Where it feels like a religious fable or a folktale, where like it's really hard, like we said, the realism of the battling, and then he just casually has an experience with a witch who...
Yes, and that's literally oh my god, we're so on it together. That's literally the next thing I have written down.
Are we about to touch tips?
Are we about to kiss?
Yeah, like, is this it? No, but so he does.
Ring?
Yeah, I'm twisting that ring. You got me thinking this marriage over, No, he does. He talks to this witch who like gives him his fate basically. And I love the idea, and that does play heavily into the movie. The idea that your fate can't be bent or broken. Like
that it is what it is.
And they even have that oath that his father and him take together that I will not live with fear because my fate's already been decided.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't change anything, so why fear what's going to happen if there's nothing you can do about it? Which Absolutely. I do think lends itself to his ability as a warrior, is he fights with no fear.
Yep.
But I liked how they balanced that out. That it feels like a folktale of just it's a normal day to have this conversation with a witch who tells you your fate.
Yeah. And it all just kind of flows in together, which is so nice.
Yeah. like you made the joke, it's just a Tuesday.
Yeah, it is. It's just a Tuesday. Like they just, all right, yeah, we raided this village, we killed all these people, and then a witch came in and, reminded me of my fate.
Yeah.
And then as well as from going on to that, they get enslaved and they are sent back to is it a different kingdom? I think it is, because they're just on like some island.
So what happens is, they mention it, and it kind of gives it a timeline. So, Uncle Fjolnir kills his father, right? And he runs away because they're going to kill him. And, the last he knows, his mom's been captured, right?
Yep.
Well, they say something, the men that he's with as an adult say something that all these slaves are going to go to Fjolnir. And he's like, oh, shit, word? Like, that's who I'm looking for, right? And he asks something about Fjolnir, like where are they going and all that, and that they're headed to Iceland. And he's like, Iceland? Why would they be headed to Iceland? And basically, Uncle Fjolnir lost the kingdom to, I believe they said King Harold, which I'm assuming is Harold Bluetooth, who's a pretty famous Viking.
Yeah.
And so he's now like a lowly farmer, basically, who's just powerful enough that he can own slaves, right? But he's not like, he doesn't have a big town. He's got like a very small farming village.
Yeah.
That you get the vibe is mostly populated by people that work for him.
Yeah, and then it's him and his family.
Yeah, but yeah, so he does that real sneaky where he, Amleth, like brands himself and cuts his hair to look like one of the slaves, and because he wants to go there, so he's going to sneak in.
Yeah, and then upon his arrival, one of the parts that I loved is, I'm trying to see if his name, Fjolnir's son.
Fjolnir's son?
Yeah.
I didn't.
The older one. Anyways,
his name, yeah, the eldest son is really like a pompous prick.
Yeah, he's a little fucking douchebag. He is talking down. What?
When he punches him.
Yeah, and he's trying to like talk down to him, and you got to think this guy's a barbarian. He's like 7'3". No, he's like 6'2", 6'3", maybe, and just muscle. And
he's built like a brick shithouse.
His Fjolnir's kid, he's maybe like 5'11" on a good day.
Yeah, and he's like maybe like 16 or 18.
Right, yeah, and he's trying to talk down to him, and he hits him in the side, trying to knock him down, and he just doesn't even move.
Yeah, it's like he might as well have punched a pillow.
Yeah. But that scene right there kills me and just definitely sets up this guy really can do whatever he wants.
And there is that interesting like dynamic there that they're technically brothers. Mm-hmm. That is his mother's son, and so they're both sons of a queen and a king, right? But there's maybe a parallel there of the weaker son being the product of, not a warrior king, but a king that stole a throne, right?
Yep. And then as well as going from there is a game tournament with the slaves, and it sounds like it almost looks like a form of like hockey.
Yeah, I was thinking it was maybe like an early version of like lacrosse.
Yeah, because they're trying to balance this ball on a stick, and they got to
throw it at a post.
And throw it at a post, and it has to hit the post.
And it's a full contact sport.
Oh yeah, like they would beat the shit out of each other. They'd pop you in the mouth. But as that's happening, the team that Amleth is on is losing because there is this like 350-pound man.
Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like 6'4", this huge dude. And the youngest kid, which, again, I just don't know his name.
Yeah, it's okay. The youngest son of Fjolnir and the mother is getting real fired up at the game. He doesn't want his team to lose.
He's like 8, maybe? 8, 9? around that.
And he
age.
runs out there and he picks up the ball and starts to run it. And that big hulk of a man like tackles the kid, basically knocks him down, and then is getting ready to. And like the kid looks, he's been hurt, like he's been wounded.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like maybe he fell down and hit his head on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Because the ball seems like it's a hard leather.
Yeah, it's like basically a rock with leather around it.
Yeah, and when he fell, he cracked his head on it. And the big hulking guy is about to like beat the kid's head in the side like a golf swing.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking Amleth just knocks him to the ground and headbutts the dude potentially to death. Like you don't see him get up.
Yeah, no, you don't.
And you're just like, what a monster! Like he headbutt a man to death, and it's really brutal. And his face is covered in the other guy's blood. And it does a quick shot of the guy's face, and his nose is all smashed in, and his forehead's cracked.
He is not looking good.
No, he is probably deceased.
Yeah,
and it's just that, like I said, he's constantly angry. He's just full of rage and violence.
Mm-hmm. And then after that, he is kind of given privileges of, all right, well, we're going to lessen your work and you're just going to start controlling the other slaves. And they also say, you can pick a woman of your choice. And he picks Olga, Anna Taylor-Joy.
Which they've already kind of been, like, flirting and having a relationship on the side. Yeah. It's just now he can be a bit more open about it.
Yeah. Now he's like, come here, baby girl. That's all me.
Yeah.
I'm truly jealous.
If you loved her so much, you would know her name was Anya, not Anna.
Whoa. Settle down.
Yeah. So
settle down.
Fidget with your ring, bitch. Well,
yeah. I'm not married.
Not yet.
Not yet. Keyword. So this line's getting long, ladies. So make sure you put your name on it. No, but yeah, so they're a thing, and then from there, they kind of start planning what they want to do, how to kill Fjolnir, and she basically is like drugging them. She's like, mushrooms.
I've got this mushroom that's basically a hallucinogen.
And because at first they think it's
an evil spirit.
Yeah, because Amleth's kind of killing them at night. With this sword that he finds in a cave. It was a cave, wasn't it?
No, so he stumbles upon a cave that a fox led him to.
That's what it was. Yep.
And there's like a male witch there who gives him like basically another prophecy, and it's that the weapon that he'll kill Fjolnir with is called the Nightblade, and it can only be drawn under the light of the moon or at Hell's Gates. And he is like, where's it at? And they tell him. And so he goes and he gets it, and it's in this buried longhouse that's like been abandoned. And he actually has this really interesting fight between himself and a Draugr that was holding the sword, which a Draugr is just like an undead in Norse mythology. And the whole gimmick is that the Draugr can't step into the moonlight. And so he ends up using that to his advantage and knocking it back because it's really fucking him up. It's throwing him around the room and shit. And he finally knocks it down, and it's a really cool, like he takes the axe and sticks it in its back and all that, and it's very like satisfying to see him take the beast down. And then it does this weird thing where it goes, yeah, maybe that's what will happen if I take the sword. Like he was just imagining that fight. And then he picks up the sword and the skeleton just collapses. And so it's that little bit of, like I said, that realism versus mythology where I would have bought it if that fight had really happened.
Yeah.
But also, it didn't happen, and that's okay too. But yeah, that I did like the idea of the sword only being able to be drawn in the moonlight, because there's a scene where he's going to kill Fjolnir, but the sun comes up.
Yeah, and he can't draw it out
of the sheath.
Yeah, that was very.
And that does have a really big payoff at the end.
Yeah, oh my god! Yeah, we'll have to get to that.
Yeah,
but yeah, so from there they kind of think it's evil spirits of the other religion,
people and setting it up to look like the gods are mad.
Yeah, and he killed. It starts off with the older son, his friends. He kills them.
Kills some of the guards that are his friends. Yeah.
Chops him up and pins them all against a wall, making it look like a horse.
Maybe a horse. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, either a horse or maybe a rune.
Yeah, something along the line. It's just not normal.
Yeah, and everybody's like, "Oh god, the gods are mad."
And then so they start setting up watches at night to see, try to kill the spirit, and they give the slaves basically a sharpened stick.
And they're going to be on guard duty all night. Yeah.
Yeah, and they tie him up to this pole, and then you have a couple of the guards there who are watching the slaves, and that's when Anya, Taylor-Joy's character Olga, comes in and basically drugs them, puts them. Yeah. And you see the one dude who is like losing it, and does he stab himself?
Yeah, he stabs himself in the neck.
Yeah, because he's just so fucked up. And I thought that was scary. Like gave me the chills. I was like, that's pretty spooky to watch.
Yeah, and then you've got him running through the dark, as like the city's falling into chaos. The city, I say, the town, the little village. He's the city's. It's madness. No, so he goes in and he's gonna kill Fjolnir, and he comes into the room and it's just his mother there, and so he hides. And she's talking all that, and he's trying to decide, how do I like reveal myself to her, right? And he finally does, and it's like, yeah, I'm it's me, it's your son, it's Amleth, and she's like, oh my god, you're alive, whatever, blah blah blah. And then she kind of reveals to him, because he's like, this is what I've been doing with my life. I'm gonna avenge my father. I'm gonna save you, and I'm gonna kill Fjolnir. And she's basically like, your father was a fuck. Like,
yeah,
I hated your father. Who do you think? Who do you think asked Fjolnir to do it?
Yeah,
and so
that's what I was gonna say.
Crashing down. Of like, his whole life's mission has been, avenge dad, save mom, kill Fjolnir, and it turns out that like his mom was in on it. And I even made a note about that.
Yeah, she just kept saying that he was a king who cared about his horses and paid no attention to me.
Yeah, and I said it does call to question that idea of like, when children don't know their parents' whole lives, and that they're only seeing what they're shown. Because in his world, dad was perfect, and their marriage was perfect. And maybe dad was a shit father or a shit husband. And we don't know, because all we see is from Amleth's perspective that dad was a good dad, right?
I was going to say, we do get that one, which is probably foreshadow, which I'm going to assume went over both of our heads. When the father comes home from voyaging, we get that scene where it's just the king and the queen. And, the queen's all like, oh, you've been gone for such a long time,
Yeah, you've
Mr.
been gone a long time. Like, she's trying to put the moves on him.
Yeah, Mr. President, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, like, I'm wounded.
Baby,
like, no.
I'm like, yeah, like, fuck off, I'm hurting. And, so maybe that, she's dissatisfied with him. And also, Fjolnir does overreact to the jester in that very beginning scene.
Yeah, played by Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. Yeah, where the jester makes some comment about basically calling the queen a whore, like, and Fjolnir is like, hold your fucking tongue, and like loses his shit, and the king has to be like, dude, chill out, like it's literally his job is to be a jokester, and that's because he and her were having an affair.
Yeah, and he thought he was calling him out.
Yeah,
and in reality, he probably was.
Yeah, they were.
They were fucking on the low.
Yeah, but then, so his mom basically reveals, like, pulls the wool over, and it's like, yeah, like, actually, I was in on it, and I don't need saving. Like, this is what I wanted. And he's, like, freaking out. And then she kind of tries to trick him into, like, maybe you and I could fuck, and we could kill everybody, and you and I could be king and queen. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? And then she tries to stab him, and it's like, okay. For a minute, I thought mom was, like, a super freak, but it turns out she's just a freak.
She's a very kinky girl. The kind you don't take home to mother.
That's copyrighted. So.
Oh, whoops. It's under 10 seconds. We should be all right.
Yeah, we're solid. But no, I did like that where you're like, whoa, like, okay, mom's like conniving. And he like basically smacks her and runs off. He's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
I can't see straight. I gotta think.
I'm getting dizzy. And he leaves. And he comes back in the daytime. Before he leaves, he fucking stabs the son, the eldest son, the shithead one, like all the way through the bed, and it gets stuck. The sword gets stuck in the ground. And he does it twice. Yeah. Like the first one killed him. The second one was just for fun. And he takes his heart out, which I gathered in their religion, you must need the heart to like bury the body. I gathered. It's like he's not whole without the heart, and so he's trying to barter with him, like I'll give you your son's heart if you is he Oh, it was for Anya Taylor-Joy's life, wasn't it?
Yeah, because after all that happened, they kind of figure out who the fuck was working with Amleth, because the
Yeah, the
mom
slaves were
says
working with him.
Fjolnir that
Amlet's alive.
yeah, and so they start lining them up, and the first one that they kind of work down the line, and then they're like, Olga, yeah, you're fucking him, you gotta know.
Yeah.
And then you see him on the hill, and he holds up this bag, and he's like, I got your son's heart. Yeah,
and that's a really interesting fight where he's fighting the guards that are coming at him, and he's using the night blade, but it's the middle of day, so he can't unsheath it, so he's just using it basically like a club.
Yeah, and he's beating the shit out of him too.
Yeah, he's working him over, and then Olga straight dips, like she runs off into the middle of nowhere, and he's kind of like, "What the fuck?" And he's distracted for a minute, and that's when he gets knocked down.
Yep.
And they hoist him up and beat the shit out of him, right? In a barn, and are like, yeah, you're gonna be we'll be back for you once you learn what's good for you, and you're gonna tell us where that heart is.
Yeah, because he tells him that isn't his actual
heart. It wasn't
his
actual heart, it was a fox's heart.
And then he's like, and then you can't kill me or else you'll never be able to bury your son.
Yeah, your son's never gonna rest. And so he's like, shit. And it was a nice little like comedic moment where one of the guards tries to unsheath the night blade, and he can't, and he just like throws the fucking thing on the ground.
He's like must be broken.
Yeah, fuck this fucking thing. And then again, where that intersection between reality and religion, where like all the crows, which are like the
representation of
the eyes of Odin, they all come in and they free him. They like peck the ropes and free him. And then as he leaves the barn, Odin is there, like basically watching him. And he doesn't have an interaction with him, but Odin's there. And then, of course, he gets saved by a Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm. Who rides off
into Valhalla, is taken to Valhalla. And in all actuality, it was just Olga.
He's just
not dreaming. Well.
Yeah, he was passed out because she saved him. And that's when we see Olga's butt again.
Her butt cheeks as she's getting in
the... Cut that part.
Why?
We're going way too far on Olga right now. So yeah, he gets carried into Valhalla.
Big old crush on her.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah. So, anyways, yes, he gets carried to Valhalla, but it's not Valhalla. It's just a hot spring, and Olga's basically like, "Yeah, I wasn't taking all the way to Valhalla. Like, I couldn't do that."
Nah, no way.
And so they basically decide that they're going to run off together. Like, it ain't worth it. And she's like, word. And so they get on a boat and they're going to deuce out. And that's when she tells him that, like, she's pregnant. And he's very emotional. Obviously, he's excited. And that's when it dawns on him that, like, if we have children, they are rightful heirs to a kingdom that Fjolnir will not let us have, right? And so he won't rest until people that could challenge his throne are dead. And that's when he realizes that like his fate was that he would do this, right? That he has to kill Fjolnir.
It kind of hit a point of like, this is no longer to avenge and save my mother, but this is now to save my kids. Yeah. And so now he has a different passion for it.
Right. And like he said, the witch told him that he would have to choose between was it kindness for his family and hate for his
enemies, yep.
And he says, maybe I can choose both, Yeah. And so he basically tells her, like, I love you, you carry a king in you, and he's like, deuces. And he jumps into the water and goes swimming back, and then we get, like, dude, such a good fight.
Yeah.
Like, he accidentally kills mom and the youngest brother.
Dude, yeah, so...
he eats that kid.
Fjolnir's... He basically told his wife and kids, "You need to go fucking hide." And
like this man's crazy.
Yeah, Amleth hops in the bedroom that they're hiding in, and the mom comes out with a sword and cuts his arm, not off, but just slices it real good, and then he ganks her, stabs her.
Yeah, but not on purpose. It was like when they were wrestling, he's like she fell on the blade basically.
Yeah, right through the heart.
And he's like, fuck.
Yeah, so he peels the sword out of her, and then the kid jumps on his back and just starts stabbing him.
It was very Barry-esque.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, it turns, because it was kind of funny when it happened. It was like, obviously, this is a kid, and he's doing what he can.
This kid is just working his ass over.
But, I mean, he just grabbed him and threw him and broke his neck on the floor.
Yeah.
And then that was the end of that kid. I was like, oh, shit, dude, like, whoa.
And then Fjolnir comes in and is basically like, dude, you fucking killed my whole family. Like, what the shit?
Yeah,
and he's like, all right.
He puts his sword away, picks up his sons, drags his wife, and goes, I'll meet you at the gates of hell.
Yeah, I'll see you at the gates of hell. And he basically is like, I'll be there.
So from there, Amleth starts hiking up this mountain to get to the top of the gates of hell, which is just... Yeah, he rides the horse, and it's basically
the gates of hell. It's just it's an erupting volcano in Iceland. Mm-hmm. And I actually make the note here that the final battle between two naked men with an erupting volcano was oddly one of the most visually moments of the movie. Yep. And it was super well choreographed, and the lighting from the lava of being like,
it was very...
the foreground was the negative space of like it's all shadowy. You can't see them, but they're silhouettes from the lava. But it was just so good. And then the throat singing, like that, hardcore Viking, like, made me feel like Skyrim, was just so epic and added to that tone of like this being a quest or a mission. It's been fated, right? This is what it's all been leading to.
And I'm not gonna lie, Amleth gets his shit pushed in.
Yeah, like, I mean, now to be fair, he's already been wounded several, like he was bleeding heavily from
That's true.
Mom slashing him and then the son stabbing the shit out of him. Because when he takes off his shirt, you see he's like very bloody. And and it's just two men that are butt naked, like it's just them and their weapons. And it's like oddly beautiful of like that it's a warrior culture, and this is the purest it could be, is just two men and their weapons, right?
That's it.
And like that fight is incredible with the lava behind him, and it's very like on the edge of your seat where you're like, I could see him just losing here. Right, and the lesson being that maybe it wasn't fated at all, right?
Yeah.
And him chopping Fjolnir's head off in a solid swing
as Fjolnir
stabs him through the heart, and so they kill each other, but it's done, right? It's ended, and he did what he went there for, in so far as like, my kids will be safe and my line will continue, right? Mm-hmm. And I did think there was something there of like, he was fighting to protect his kids, right? And then Fjolnir obviously is just there to like avenge his family, right?
Yeah.
And his original mission was to kill his brother and his brother's son so that this wouldn't happen, right? So that this wouldn't come to be. And he finishes his job, and Amleth finishes his.
Yeah. And it was just such a... But like, what a good ending for like it not being a good ending, because obviously the good ending is going to be like Amleth would have lived and met back.
It
with
wasn't
Olga.
like it didn't have a pretty bow on top. It wasn't a perfect ending, but it was what was fated to happen. Oh, but the payoff that we talked about earlier was he looks up and the sun is up, right before he heads into the ash clouds around the volcano, and he is able to unsheath the Nightblade because he is at Hell's Gate.
Hell's Gate.
And you're like, shit, he's there. Like, this is it.
Yeah, it's happening. This is... Oh my god, everyone stay calm.
Yeah, stay fucking calm!
Yeah, phenomenal movie. That was very, like, story-driven, too. That, like I said, like, I could have seen more action. I would have been like, cool with it. But also, I'm like, it didn't need it because it had a strong story.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't need it, but there were definitely parts where there could have been an action scene there or whatever. I did think, oddly enough, for as violent as it was, I did feel there could have been more violence. Like, not necessarily more action scenes, but the scenes that we did have could have been more violent.
A little more violent.
For them being, him being like, especially that barbarian scene.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess there is something to be said for, leaving it up to the imagination at times.
Yeah. Yeah. As well as I do think... I was going to say, as well as I do think, we are kind of spoiled in the sense of, with movies, if someone gets stabbed and blood starts spraying everywhere, that's not too real.
Right. No.
So, it could partially be a part of, that's kind of what we're accustomed to, rather than the real life version of, you're just blood will start to flow out and then you'll die.
Yeah. All in all, I would give it, like we said, overwhelming. It was still a very good movie. I do think, at times the slow pace did feel a little too slow sometimes, where it's like, okay, maybe we could keep moving here, right?
Yes, speed it up a little bit.
But then, when there was the action, like we said, the action was really solid.
Well, such a good payoff.
And I did wish, like we said, that there was more between him and Olga's character.
Yeah. I honestly, like, a part of me... and obviously it's not going to happen, but a part of me wants to see a sequel. Like, I want to know
like what
more. I want to
happens
know
with
what
her.
happens.
Maybe give Olga a story,
Yeah, because I would love to see like how she kind of discovered or how she got to be so witty and
Right.
smart and like finding these mushrooms. Like, how does she know?
Or what
How?
continues on, because his fate from the witch was that basically he wouldn't be king, but he would give rise to a maiden king, right? A woman who is king. And is that his daughter with her, or is that her? You know what I
Right.
mean?
So
But
it all just comes
yeah,
down to a what if scenario.
right. Yeah, solid movie. I enjoyed it.
Really
Go
good.
see it if you'd like.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Chris, what you been thinking about, buddy?
Oh, well, let me just start off by saying welcome back to Chris's Cryptid Corner. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm struggling to write or create a little sound beat for this, so I might need your help with it. But
Pass.
if you have any sound beats that you'd like me to use, you can definitely send the link in at simplywhelmedmailbag@gmail.com. I look forward to seeing those. This week we'll be talking about the Loveland Frogman in Ohio.
I should talk about the
Basically,
Frogman.
yeah. Oh my.
I think I've
So
talked about him before on here.
I think we briefly mentioned him, and then someone was like, "You got to do the Frogman," and I was like, "All right, I'll do the Frogman." So
Fine.
first, it looks like here, back in 1972, was the first eyewitness, and it was spotted in Loveland, Ohio. The legend gained renewed attention when a Loveland police officer reported to a colleague that he had seen an animal consistent with the descriptions of a frog after... Oh, that's when it was first sighted in that. And then in 2016, the second officer called the station to report that he had shot and killed the same creature some weeks after the 1972 incident. And so, that's it. That's all it is.
Right. But also, did you read about the musical?
No, you're joking.
There's a fucking stage musical. And I think I mentioned this the very first week we talked about, like, Bigfoot or something, right? Whatever your cryptid was.
The musical.
Yeah, it's called Hot Damn, It's the Loveland Frogman.
Well, damn it. Yeah, it is. It's right here.
Yeah, my wife and I fucking lost it, because I think that's what I brought it up, was when I was talking about my idea for like a cryptid anthology show.
Mm-hmm.
And her and I were like, well, I wonder what kind of... And we saw Loveland Frogman. And we're like, what's that? And yeah, it was just, it also inspired a stage musical called Hot Damn, It's the Loveland Frogman.
It's a bluegrass musical. I got to see if they're selling tickets.
Right, yeah.
It looks like it's back in 2014.
Make the trip.
Let me see.
All
right, so for the Loveland, that's what I'm about to read you. Yeah. Something is lurking in Loveland, the sweetheart of Ohio. There's a disappearance of a strange old man has reckoned the hysteria surrounding America's most cryptozoological phenomenon.
Cryptozoological. Yep, you got it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, you nailed it, bub.
I know.
Yeah, you did. Like, you're good.
The Loveland Frog. Join Luke Honeywell and a smoking bluegrass band on a river adventure with manacle moonshiners, crooked cops, and the last... What is it?
It's probably crooked cops.
Twitwee?
What? Spell it.
TWIGHTWEE.
Twitewee? What?
It just says the last Twitewee Indian as they rescue...
Oh, okay.
As they rescue Peepaw from the wondrous and elusive Loveland Frog. Just imagine a bunch of bluegrass. Hey, we gotta go save Peepaw. We gotta go save Peepaw
from the Loveland Frogman.
Well, hot damn! It's the Loveland Frog,
man.
we got. We gotta go save Peepaw, and the only way to save Peepaw is to create a smoking bluegrass band.
We gotta put the old 6-string.
I like how in the description it says, in parentheses, a smoking bluegrass band.
like these guys,
they produce nothing but gas.
Yeah, this shit's gas. Like, you would not believe. Oh, fuck.
Oh, my God. No, we're flying. We're seeing that.
Yeah, we gotta go see it. Oh shit.
Oh my god, holy shit. That's so funny.
That's too good. All right.
Whew.
You know what time it is, baby.
What about you? What have you been thinking about?
I've been thinking about Barry season 3 premiere that we watched. Like, dude, that shit was good. Like, obviously, I don't want to spoil it here, but like, it was a solid opening.
Yeah, what a strong opener.
It did a good job of, I think, like, jumping the gap of like, how do we get from where season 2 left us to like a good starting point for another season? And they basically just go, yeah, some time has passed, and here's where everybody's at after X amount of months, right?
Yeah, very casual.
And I really like what they're doing with like NoHo Hank, and Barry's obviously in a really not good space because, like we saw at the end of last season, he just he lost it, like he broke. And he killed a lot of people after spending all season battling with the idea of not wanting to be a killer. And so it's an interesting spot to find him going, yeah, maybe that's all good at.
Is just killing people.
And then Sally, I like where Sally's at of he's making it, right? And her being a control freak, she does have a lot of control on her shows, and it's really interesting to see her be in control and like be doing the job that she wants to be doing, but still somehow seeming dissatisfied.
Yeah. And I know we were talking about it. They both seem so, with Barry being in his head and basically being dead. And with Sally, being so busy and wrapped up in this, that they aren't paying attention to each other.
Yeah. And they both probably need the other one.
Yeah. More than ever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because also I'm sure something that they'll explore with Sally is the fact that, like we said at the end of last season, her success is being built off the back of a lie. A very personal lie.
Yep.
And so it'll be interesting to see where that takes her. But then also I've been thinking about there's a game that I purchased on Steam a while back that was like $5 on one of the summer sales or whatever.
Sure.
And it's called The Lake, and it's a cheap little. It was cheap. I don't mean to say like the product itself is of cheap quality, but it was just a cheap little game that sounded somewhat interesting because I like some like relaxed story-based games when I'm not trying to be when I just want to turn the brain off,
Yeah, you're not grinding.
Yeah, and it's just this interesting little game about a woman who, like, it seems like it's maybe the mid 90s because she has a laptop, but it is like one of the big briefcase computers.
Real thick boy.
Yeah. More like it's literally a briefcase. It's got a handle on it and everything.
Oh, okay.
And there's no cell phones. Like, she's calling people from landlines. But her parents are going. She's some like early tech. She works for an early tech company, and her parents are going on a vacation of some kind. And so she has to return home to like this small town, middle of nowhere town that's surrounding a lake. And she's taking over her dad's mail route for the post office. And so there's a little bit of a gameplay loop of just driving around town, dropping off the mail. But then she's meeting up with people that maybe she knew when she was a kid, or people that are new to town. And it's just her kind of deciding, like, battling with the idea of like being the big city girl, right? Or missing the hometown and all that. And people thinking that she's better than them or whatever. And it is actually pretty interesting, and it's nice. Like I said, it's relaxing. It's just one of my favorite things to play is like a driving simulator game, like a truck simulator and all that.
I was gonna say, I know you love that truck driving simulator, and then recently we've started playing. Was it Gas Station Simulator?
Yeah,
and that's been fire.
Yeah, but so I do like the aspect of like just driving around, dropping off the mail.
Yeah,
and it is kind of neat because it's a small town, so you get like there's the crazy cat lady that everybody knows and just kind of ignores like her idiosyncrasies.
Don't mind her. She's the weird one.
Yeah, that's just Miss Stewart,
If you're trying to unwind, a game I highly recommend, not sponsored but trying to be, is called Unpacking.
Yeah, you were telling me about that one.
And it is truly, I mean, it's just like this little, I want to say maybe like 16-bit, like graphics aren't the best, but it doesn't have to be. And you are just set up in a house with a bunch of boxes, and you're simply unpacking everything until it's all empty, and you get to organize it and put it anywhere you want and kind of style it how you want.
Yeah.
and just throw a little bit like a lo-fi beat on the background, just winding down, playing that game for a little bit. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I said, just turn the head off and just go.
Yep. Lights are on, but nobody's home.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been thinking about. So you want to dig into the mailbag now?
Yeah, it's digging in the mailbag.
Yeah, we got a letter here from Andrew.
Okay.
Nice, short and sweet. He just said, wondering what your guys' most anticipated movie of the year is, and what are you most excited about seeing in it?
Ooh, that's actually a good question.
Yeah, it is. For being a simple question, it's like, oh yeah, I got to think on that one.
Yeah. Trying to think.
I've got a few. Honestly, I would say like Across the Universe was my most anticipated movie. But obviously with it getting moved, I can't say that
Across
one now.
the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. What did I say?
Across the Universe. That's a movie.
Oh
but
yeah, that is a movie, but it's not that. Yeah, Across the Spider-Verse. Sorry. But so then now I'm thinking about like maybe like the one that's at the top of my mind would be Multiverse of Madness, but that's just because it's a big Marvel movie and it's coming out in a couple weeks. But I actually did a little like reading. I was like, man, what movies are coming out this year? And Knives Out 2 is supposed to come out this year. And Knives Out is one of my more favorite movies, like as far as an original story goes.
Yeah.
Like, have you watched that one? It's a whodunit. Oh, we've got to watch that one. I'll watch it again. I've seen it like 3 times. But it's got Daniel Craig really chewing up some scenery with like a Colonel Sanders accent. And he's like a detective. It very much reminds me of like a detective serial of books that like your grandmother would read.
Okay.
But modernized and has like some modern humor. It's actually by Rian Johnson, who made Looper, and then he was also the writer-director of Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Which, had some divisiveness. But this was a brainchild of his, where totally written by him and totally directed by him, and it works so well. And it's got a really big ensemble cast, and they all do such a good job of balancing like comedy and like the whodunit, the mystery. And it does a really neat thing of like revealing its hand early, but not entirely. And then it kind of, so you're like, oh man, I thought I knew how like this mystery is going to unfold, but
and
then it uses like what it uses what you know about a mystery movie to then go, yeah, but this isn't that movie.
Yeah, it's not it. I think
and so I'm excited to see that sequel. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll definitely have to watch the original one, see how.
Yeah.
I'll have to see that. Trying not to say like Thor: Love and Thunder, or like Doctor Strange, just because it's Marvel. I'm trying to pick something out of that. Personally, I'm pretty excited to see Avatar 2.
Word, yeah.
Just because the first one I loved so much, and I remember they planned on making like 5 of them in total. Is what
they've got something dumb in the like. Avatar 2 has been supposed to be released every year for like the last 7 years.
Listen, I'll hold out. I thought the first one was amazing. I'll really hold out. If the second one's trash, then I probably won't say anything about it. Just fly under the radar, and I just won't see any more of them. But I mean, the first one was an amazing film, and I know they're making a video game about it too. I'm a little on the fence about that, but no, I mean, I'm excited. Hopefully, because when did the first Avatar come out? Back in what, 2009?
No, I think it was 2010.
I could 2009 film. I'm so good. Oh my god. Oh, I'm sweating.
Yeah. What is it? A busted clock? It's right twice a day.
That's right. No, but so for a 2009 film, I mean, it was such a beautiful CGI film, and so I'm really excited to see where that's taking us now.
It was blue Pocahontas. Let's be real.
I mean, you're not wrong, but also I don't know. I just liked it for the visual effects. I thought it was a very appealing movie just on the eyes. So I'm excited to see where that goes. But if not, if it is trash, honestly, The Northman was super good. That was one I was really looking forward to, as well as the Batman.
I was really surprised you didn't say. Like, I had it written down, and when you were like building up to saying your first one, I thought you were going to say it, and we were going to have another moment. Nope, from Jordan Peele.
Oh shit! No, that is another good film. Fuck, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, no, Nope looks so good.
Oh god, with fucking Keke Palmer, I'm excited to see like her do something again.
Yes.
Where like it's been a minute since she's been in like a big mainstream thing. And I mean it does. It looks like, again, it's doing the Jordan Peele thing of not showing you much and just relying on giving you a feeling, right? And then
It looks
also
like a bunch
now
of
that
aliens.
yeah. I mean, it looks like it's potentially an alien invasion thing, but knowing how the other two films from Jordan Peele have gone, there's probably more to it than that.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I didn't think Us was as good as Get Out. Get Out
Mm-hmm.
was a really strong opener for him,
Mm-hmm.
and Us was not bad, but it was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And so I really hope that Nope can be more like Get Out and less like Us, but I don't know. I'm still really excited for it, and it's again we're seeing something, you know, original from a director that has a vision.
Yeah.
And anymore you see a lot of directors that it could be anybody in that role because the studio already decided what this movie is going to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so anytime you get a director like a Tarantino or a Christopher Nolan or anything like that, where this guy makes specific movies,
and they're just good at it.
Yeah, and so I'm excited to see Nope from Jordan Peele.
Yeah, that also does sound really looks really good too. But yeah, I mean that's really those. I feel like I haven't been too disappointed with the movies that have been coming out, minus Morbius. Like the Batman was super good, the Northman was super good, and everything everywhere all at once.
Like
was
honestly,
really good.
we were surprised by Uncharted. Like we enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good film, and then as well as I still really want to see The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah,
that looks really good. And then is it Bullet Train with Brad Pitt?
Yes, yeah, and I think that's coming from Sony.
Yeah, and that looks really good. And then I fucking heard Sonic 2 was a really good movie.
Really good, yeah, I know.
That's what I heard, and I was like, well, shit, I gotta watch the first one.
Yeah.
And so, I gotta see that, and then now I'm like, shit, I gotta go watch Sonic 2. And then obviously you have, like, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I've seen a trailer for Ambulance that's coming out this year. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal and somebody, like two other people I think are main in it.
Yeah, the main character seems to be, I think it's the actor that was in the, speaking of Jordan Peele, the Candyman, like, sequel / reboot that Jordan Peele produced. He was the main character in that.
Yeah. I unfortunately I have not seen Candyman. I heard that one didn't do too hot.
Yeah.
But it looks okay. It's
what did I say to you? It looks like Michael Bay just discovered how to use a drone.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was just so many drone shots in the trailer, and it was like, oh yeah, he figured out how to do it.
Yeah, he's on it.
He's so jacked up right now.
but those ones definitely looked really good. That I'm excited for. But honestly, if let's just say worst case scenario, the rest of the movies of this year were trash, I'd be all right with. I'd be upset, but I wouldn't be like, "No, this year was shit." I'd be like, we got some decent movies out of it.
Yeah, we got Everything Everywhere All at Once, Batman, Northman. Yeah. It wasn't a bad turnout so far. And we're only in April, so that's exciting.
That's right. Yeah,
but
we got a lot of potential.
Anyway, as always, we want to thank you guys so much for your attention and support. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to give the podcast a great review on Apple, 5 stars, and tell your friends all about it. Word of mouth can be super big endorsement right now. Just huge. Huge. And Chris, if people wanted to get in touch with us and give us some feedback, ask us questions, dunk on Morbius, how would they do that?
Absolutely. Well, for starting, if you ever want to dunk on Morbius, you are more than welcome to send us an email at simplywhelmedmailbag@gmail.com. You can get a hold of us on Instagram at simplywhelmedpodcast. And then, of course, Twitter, which is whelmed_simply. And then I believe we just created our Facebook page. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is Simply Whelmed Podcast.
Yeah, it's the Simply Whelmed Podcast. Yep.
Yeah. So you are definitely more than welcome to reach out to any of us through there to leave us any comments, suggestions, or ideas.
So next week, I think we're going to get ready for the Multiverse of Madness by reading some Doctor Strange comics, kind of like we did with Moon Knight, just to get us primed and ready. Yeah. And I think it should be interesting, seeing as I haven't really read a lot of standalone Doctor Strange stuff at all. Most of my interactions with him in comics are where he's appearing in it in somebody else's comic. So we'll have to do a little reading and see like what are like the must read Doctor Strange comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which as well as I was gonna say, I believe in the Multiverse of Madness. I think we might have touched on this a couple episodes ago. It looks like it's gonna be more of like a horror film. Yeah.
Well, and you figure it was originally Scott Derrickson was set to direct it, which is who directed the first one. But in this one, he really wanted to delve into his horror roots because he did the films. Oh my god, I can't think of them with the Gabagool. Yeah, it's Ethan Hawke, and he's playing back the old footage. Sinister.
Oh yes, I don't know why you said Gabagoop, and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, Bagul, that was his name.
Yeah,
was the demon in that. But yeah, so Scott Derrickson really wanted to get in touch with us in that, and he and Marvel separated over creative differences, and they brought in Sam Raimi, who also has quite the history in horror with the Evil Dead, and he did Drag Me to Hell. He did like the Darkman movies, which were like some edgy, somewhat horror, like superhero films in the '90s. And so yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see Sam Raimi direct. I don't think he's directed a movie since like Oz the Great and Powerful with James Franco from like 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'll be interesting to see him get back in with like a superhero film as well. Yeah. Especially with us just getting Tobey Maguire in Multiverse or No Way Home.
No Way Home. Mm-hmm.
And so maybe we get a little Tobey Maguire.
I would love that so much. And Andrew Garfield.
Maybe.
Don't push your luck.
Yeah, just let's not get greedy. But no, so yeah, well, I think we're going to do that next week. We'll look at some comics, and yeah, it should be a good time. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next Wednesday.
See you later, guys.